Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel, Patricia Monna Intuitive Consulting. It's so great to see everybody here in the chat. All my favorite people are here with me today. I am so grateful to have you guys as a part of my life. Honestly, you make it brighter. As a part of my life. Honestly, you make it brighter. We're just gonna shut off the phone. I was doing the countdown on there, and I want to say something, you guys. I've made a little connection on a timeline jump that we've done over the last couple of days. I noticed this a few days ago, and it's still ongoing, but my clocks are off. So whenever there has been a timeline jump, take a look at your devices, because I've got Apple devices and I'm on a Mac computer and they're a minute off. So if you see that your devices are a minute or even like a few seconds off, you got to ask yourself, what's going on? What's going on with the time? Why aren't, the electronics keeping their synchronization up? So hello, everybody, as you file in. I love it. Lots of people from the US. Great to have you on here. If you guys are TikTok lovers in the US, I heard that it's getting banned down there. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be banned or if it's banned for longer than one day. It's going out on the Sunday, from what I believe, on the 19th, and the inauguration is on the 20th. So I don't know. It might only be down for one day. I guess we'll have to wait and see what's going on. Oh, thank you, Takia, for joining me all the way from Japan. I know that there's quite the time difference, so I really, really appreciate you staying for my lives. I really do. Marie, my husband always thinks I'm crazy when I say my car clock has been gaining time. I've been saying it for years. Well, that's what I mean. Like, notice when it does, because right around the same time that I started noticing the clocks, I also started noticing the energy felt a lot different as well. So how many of you guys can tell that there's something going on in the air? How many of you guys can feel it? Let me know in the chat, because there is something going on. And if you've been following my channel for a while, you'll know I've been talking about 2025 for like the last 4 or 5 years, actually, since about 2020. Because when I was remote viewing the 20s, from going from 2020 to 2030, I could feel the difference in the energies of the years. And 2025 was the year that gave me shivers with what I saw and what I felt. And now we're here. So, but I will say, my guides have said you can get out the popcorn and watch the show go down or turn it off, but it won't affect you. It's only going to affect certain people. And so I think we need to just, whatsoever, do not hit any panic button. We just need to sit back, and we need to create a unified field of peace is what we need to do. And so prayer, you're going to hear me talk a lot about the power of prayer, because I really, really do believe it. And I know that I've done emergency prayers on lives before with groups of you guys. And like, we did one for Hurricane Milton, and the hurricane literally slowed down as we were praying. We've done prayers for different people and different things, and it works. We've seen results. 100% we've seen results. So I believe in the power of unification and coming together. So I'm going to try and do a lot more live prayers with you guys, because this is the beauty of the internet. It connects us worldwide. It isn't just, bound to a circle of people in a room. Mind you, that also works. But I believe that when we come together and unify our energy and bring in that light, bring in that healing, ask for that peace to come pour down on us and through us. That's the most important thing that we need to ask for, is to be the vessels of peace, because peace is an energy that you can align your mind, body, and soul with. And then all of a sudden you exude that and you bring it. Right? How many of you guys know people that just when they walk in a room, it's like, they just bring in the peace, or they bring the energy up? Well, wouldn't it be amazing for that to be said about everyone? instead of just some people. Well, it's contagious. The same way a bad mood is contagious, so is the light. It's contagious. So when we align our mind, body, soul with that highest level of peace and intend to walk that way throughout our day, that's what we're going to exude. And that's how we change the world, one person at a time. So remember your power, and shine bright, you guys. Now is the time to step into that power that we've all been, talking about. And, 2020, I think, was just an activation these past 4 years, 5 years now. So many people woke up. So many people woke up, delved into their own divinity, started asking the big questions, and opened their own doors, to different dimensions of consciousness. And it's catching on. It's totally catching on. So the brighter you can shine your light, the more you're going to spread it. So yes, Diane Peterson, feel big changes coming. Yes, I do too. Fluffy Pancake. Love that name. Hi, everyone. Dr. Stephen Greer just made a video. What is happening in the next 72 hours? Okay, I'm going on a cruise with him in April, actually. April 6th to the 12th. I will be in the Caribbean with Dr. Stephen Greer doing contact on the ocean. So we'll see what we get. I'm going to go live on my YouTube channel from the middle of the Caribbean. And so you guys stay with me. Look out for those lives as well. But I'm not sure. I heard that he said something about soft disclosure, that he's going to be dropping bits of information over the next 72 hours and over the next few weeks, from what I hear. So I'll have to wait and hear what he's got to say about that. Now, let's talk about UFOs and all that for a moment. Because if someone had 10 years ago explained to me astral projection, astral travel, remote viewing, I would have thought they were crazy, that you can actually come out of your body. It's not visualization. You're not dreaming. You're not you're not visualizing it. You're literally coming out of you, traveling at the speed of thought. For me, it was going to get information on a target and bring it back. If someone would have said that to me without the experience, I would have thought they were crazy, right? So the only difference between a skeptic and a believer is the experience. So be open to the experience, because I was professionally trained in astral projection and outer body experiences, and I use it as a method to find missing people. So it is absolutely possible, 100%. So to me, if that's real, what else is real that we've been told isn't, that we've been told is just a bunch of hooey conspiracy theories, right? Now, I think we're getting to the point that, especially with technology and what we can record, there's enough evidence out there that we're not alone. And how ignorant of us to actually think that we're the only ones out there in the entire universe. Like, it's so ridiculous, right? Of course, there's other civilizations. Of course, there's other extraterrestrial beings. It's just how many of us have experienced it, right? So even if you haven't experienced it, and I haven't, I've seen things that I can't explain when it comes to UFOs and shapeshifters. I met a shapeshifter, and that actually blew my mind. So I know that that's real. And I know that they do live among us, but I've never been on a ship. I've never, had an alien appear right in front of me. And a shapeshifter is different than an alien. But we'll see. I'm open to the experience. Open to the experience. Oh, 17 here in LA with the fires. I am so sorry that you guys are going through that. It's... in Canada, we don't get much news, and everything is censored. So it's really hard everything is the liberal ideology on all of the news outlets. So it's really hard to even hear what's going on in different parts of the world. But are they still ongoing? I didn't know that they were still ongoing. I'm really sorry that you're going through that. Oh, thank you, Care Bear Gratitude. Your meditations are so powerful and amazing to be a part of. I love hearing that. But you know what? It's the energy that we produce together, because when I am doing those meditations, I'm literally visualizing all of you guys as an individual pillar of light shining out way past Earth, out into space, and we're all linked up, and spreading our light all across the world. So it's amplified. It isn't just because of me, it's because of all of us getting together and doing it at the same time. And I do believe that if you guys ever go back and watch my meditations afterwards, there is a universal imprint that has been put into those meditations, that imprint is still there, where you can feel into those 100 or 200 or how many people came on and created the grid. You will still feel the power of that many people in that recording. And then on top of that, you're adding your imprint to it as well. So the way Spirit has showed it to me is every time it's viewed, it activates that healing all over again, right? So it just keeps going. Yeah, spiritual orca. I had a dream. There was a full moon and a calendar that said February. Are you picking up anything for February? I feel there will be an event. Okay, good question. Okay, so do you remember the drone stuff that was happening in December, right? What Spirit showed me was this is going to be the same kind of timeline as COVID was. You know how we started hearing about COVID in 2019. That's why it's called COVID-19, right? It was December that they became public about it. But it wasn't until about February, March, that then we were locked down, right? We were locked down in March. Spirit showed me that there's going to be information or truth coming out about those drones and what those really were about in February or March. So it's interesting that you do say February, because I think that there is going to be a lot of disclosure that happens in February, March, partly because Trump is now getting into office. And I do think that he is going to be for disclosure, especially working so closely with Elon Musk. But listen, 2025 is going to be a very fiery year. It didn't surprise me that it started off with fires and destruction right off the bat, and Trudeau stepping down. And it's like the list went on and on and on, all at once, right? It's like, oh yeah, welcome to 2025. It's here. Get out your popcorn. It's here. The way the year started, I hate to say it, but we're going to get hammered like that constantly this year. So it does have a very fiery indigestion energy to it. And now step back and look at that. What does fire symbolize? Cleansing, rebirth, regrowth. I will find it very interesting if 15-minute cities pop up in the places where the fires were taking place. Yeah, I'll just leave that at that. But I think that we're going to see a lot of destruction that may be blamed on nature. Now, whether or not it is, maybe Mother Nature has had enough of us and our crap, and maybe it is time, that we start paying attention. But I do feel that there is also an agenda to this, because like the World Economic Forum says, no good crisis should go without, what's the words I'm looking for? You never want to miss out on a good crisis, right? They want to be able to change things in that time of crisis. So I just, Vivian, will this be recorded? Yes, it's being recorded. Yeah, I feel that this year is going to be crisis after crisis after crisis on a global scale, and quite possibly on a personal scale. It's all in how you look at things, right? Because what if you're hating the job that you're in right now, right? And it just so happens that you got fired. It may look like the end of the world and it may look like a crisis, but what happens if the next job is the job of your dreams, right? That crisis then turns into windows of opportunity that you wouldn't be opening or walking through if you didn't lose it in the first place. So you have to understand that this is a transitionary year. There's going to be a lot of change, a lot of movement. It's not a year to be sitting still and wanting to do something but putting it on the back burner. No. If it's put on your heart to get something done, get her done. Get her done. Something told me a few years ago, get traveling. Get going. As soon as we were allowed to travel again and I was let out the gate, I've got so much traveling to do still, right? And is it because something's coming where we won't be able to travel? I'm going to continue traveling until I'm told I can't. So I don't want to deter anybody from, making any travel plans or anything. I've made my own. I'm going to live my life large and not live my life in fear. But eyes wide open, because this world is changing drastically this year is what it feels like. Okay, I'm going to get to some of these comments because there's a few really, really good. Well, they're all good, but there's a few ones that I really want to talk about. Like Sonia Sunshine. What do you think about Mark Carney? Looks sinister to me. Girl, your intuitive radar is going off. This guy is a World Economic Forum puppet. He is just like Klaus Schwab said in 2020, we have infiltrated the cabinetry of every government. He bragged about it on national TV about how he has literally put his puppets in place in parliaments all around the world. Well, Justin Trudeau is a World Economic Forum puppet for sure. He went to the school. Kelly Chapman, help me out. What was the school called? I know you know this. Young Global Leaders, something Young Global Leaders. Anyways, he's a graduate of it. Same thing with Mark Carney. Same thing with Chrystia Freeland. They're for it. Now, the thing that I absolutely love about Pierre Poilievre is that he has completely denounced the World Economic Forum. He has never been to Davos. And I can see energy. When a person's lying, their auric field, to me, looks like bloody diarrhea. Literally, it looks like they're full of SHIT oozing out of their auric field. So when he says he's never been to Davos, he has nothing to do with the World Economic Forum, I'm telling you, this guy is not lying. I watched his energy, and he's truthful. He's full of truth when he says that. And he has nothing to do with them, nor will he in the future. Thank God. And he's also the one who told me, because I wrote to him at the beginning of when 2020 was going down and we were locked down. I went down that rabbit hole of Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum and the 15-minute cities and what they have in store for us with their technology and everything. I went down that rabbit hole and I was so disgusted with it that I actually contacted Pierre Poilievre and spoke to him personally about it. And I said to him in the conversation, I said, if you ever run for prime minister, you absolutely, absolutely have my vote. And he does. He's the one who told me that Klaus Schwab sent his book, The Great Reset, to every single politician in the world. Now we got to stop and think, how did Klaus Schwab write that book so fast and have it in the hands of every single leader across the world so quickly? Because it was out within, I would say, a month of being shut down. I think that's pretty interesting, because it's all about COVID-19. So they definitely have their own agenda, and Mark Carney is one of them. He is Trudeau. He's everything of Trudeau, just with a different face. So if we think that we're getting anyone better, we're absolutely not. Trudeau was a puppet. He was listening to his puppet master the whole time. And look what he's done to this country. I'm almost embarrassed to say I'm Canadian at this point, honestly, because of what Trudeau's done to this country. Mark Carney is no different. Absolutely no different. And then you got Chrystia Freeland, who was the finance minister of Canada, who hosed us all. And if you're Canadian on this channel, you know what I'm talking about when it comes to our taxes, income taxes, all of that. Like, even this is the latest scam. If you live in Alberta or Calgary, and this is municipal, the city of Calgary, we just got our tax assessment bills in the mail. And for the last 3 years, our houses, my house has gone up over $100,000 every year. And that's crap. Total crap. It's a cash grab because they're hosing you more for the taxes based on what they think you can sell your house for. So look out for that little scam that's going on around Canada, or it is Calgary anyways. But I also know that that's not federal, that's municipal. So, but no, Mark Carney, he's Trudeau just with a different face. So, okay. Edie Smith, I had so much personal crisis in 2024. Are you saying more is coming? So it could be. I'm being honest. So this, I have to tell you something though, for all the people who have been through the fire, it is about rebirth. The worst possible time in my life that ripped my guts out and I never thought I would recover from is the reason why we're having this conversation today, 20 years later. Had anything been different along the way, this conversation wouldn't be happening. This moment in time wouldn't be this reality, right? So if you're going through the fire, keep going. Keep going. It does get better. Reach into your faith. Lean on your friends. Lean on your family. And if you can't lean on them, I got some really great books for you. So get out a pen. The book, The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. Somebody wants to write that up for me in the comments. That'd be great. I've got one of these ASMR keyboards, so it'll drive you nuts if I start clicking. But The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. The other one, the one that changed my life, that I still listen to. If I was to pull up my my Audible right now, you're going to see I've been listening to it every night, probably since I got the series. It's Conversations with God by Neale Donald Walsch. Conversations with God by Neale Donald Walsch. That one changed my life. If you're ready to actually feel like you're having a conversation with the big guy, you're going to want to read that one. And I want you to think of it that way, because everything is a medium, not just a person. A medium isn't just a medium can be a bird. It's a symbol. It's a way for spirit to get your attention in that moment to give you a message. God can use a book. Absolutely. God can use a book. So read that one, because it'll change your life. And it's not religion shoved down your throat. I would never do that to anyone. It's a book about a guy who was down on his luck, down on life. And whenever he was mad at someone, he'd write them a letter. And so he's mad at God because his life is awful. So he starts writing a letter. And it becomes a dictation between him and God. And by far, one of the most brilliant books I've ever read, with so many answers in it. So here's the other thing. When it comes to that point in your life where you're doing the snotty balling on the floor and you feel like you can't go on anymore, look up, look in. That's what that's all about. It is. There are certain things that are pre-programmed into our life that are not sent to destroy us. It is sent to renew us, to change our life. It is a catalyst for change. You'll never be the same. You'll never be the same after a death. You just become comfortably numb with the pain. I look back now. I lost both of my parents back to back, and it really messed me up, But looking back now, I wouldn't change a thing. It took me 20 years to say that, but I wouldn't change a thing. I honor my pain. I bless the bullshit, because it's fertilizer for your dreams. It is. Just wait. It does. Honestly, it gets way better. Life gets way better. So keep going. Thank you guys for writing it in. See, so many other people, Conversations with God, they love that book. It's really, really good. Okay, G Ireland, what do you think about the new AI building coming 2 hours-ish south of Calgary? And what do you think of Danielle Smith meeting with Trump? Go, girl, go. Danielle Smith is my girl. I love her. I love Danielle Smith. I love her fire. If she was running for prime minister, I'd want her to be my prime minister. I completely align with her. She had our backs during the pandemic. She totally did. I have much respect for her, especially in her position, because I'm sure she does get a lot of hate thrown at her, but she's got my vote. She did at the time, and she does. I think that good on her. You know, I think she's also making Trudeau look like a jackass, which is also fine by me. But no, she needs to protect our province. If Trudeau is set on destroying Canada, that's one thing, okay? But Danielle Smith, the way she has stood up to Trudeau, the way she is trying to work with Trump, because Alberta's full of energy, Alberta's full of gas, and they need our gas. So why screw that up? Right? So look at what happened to the Keystone Pipeline and all of that. Look at what Trudeau has blocked with oil and gas, because he wants everything AI, because you know why? It's part of the World Economic Forum ideology. Now, let me break this down. AI technology can be both excellent, great, if it's used for the good of humanity, or it can be a worst nightmare. I'm going to tell you about the two timelines that are unfolding right now. And I mean this. There is the organic timeline based in, both timelines are moving towards unity consciousness. I forgot to mention that. Okay. Both of them are moving towards unity consciousness. One is hooked up to God, source, nature, right? Telepathy amongst us, humanity, source energy, love, unity. The other is AI unity. Look at how they want to connect us, right? This is great to be connected this way. But what happens when that stuff finally enters your body and they're microchipping babies right out of the womb? Right? And that's their SIN number, that's their driver's record, that's their health records, all of it will be on a little microchip. And the way they're going to sell it is, ooh, this can be beneficial, because if your body, will say, has cancer, well, we can turn the frequency for cancer on inside of this little microchip, and it's going to blow up the cancer cells, because it's going to resonate at the exact same frequency as the cancer cells. Rife therapy. Remember, mark my words, I've told you guys that Rife therapy, it's actually the medicine of the future. This stuff has been around since the 1940s. So wait until they sell it to us that way, that they can turn it on and make us look younger, turn it on and make our hair grow, all these different things that will be sold wonderfully. It's also hooked up to our social credit score, our carbon footprint, all of that stuff, right? It may be mind-blowing right now, but look at how quickly we're moving towards that. All of those smart cars, one of the features is if you don't pay your bill, it won't turn on. It has that power over you. You look at how many microphones and cameras are in that thing. It knows when you sneeze and fart. Your car doesn't need to know that, right? So to me, it's very invasive. So AI God, the false God, Antichrist. Now I understand what my parents were teaching me. Now I understand Revelations a lot better now that we're here. And it's like, whoa, that's what they meant by the false God. Because it's got a body, it doesn't have a soul, but you're worshiping it, right? It's not life force energy, but it knows everything about us, everything, all of this stuff, including your thoughts. What's the only thing that does that up until now? The big guy in the sky. If you want to call it the Akashic records, there's something that is being recorded, or I wouldn't have a job. I wouldn't be able to predict, see what's coming up. And I certainly wouldn't be able to look at your past and be able to be accurate about that either, right? There's a book that's being pre-written. So we're living it out. we're living pages that's already pre-written. That's the best way I can kind of explain how this stuff works. So I just think, anyways, I just think it's a matter of time before this stuff happens. And I understand the book of Revelations more than I've ever understood it before, because AI does not have life force energy. It is not the living God. So if it knows everything about us and we're hooked up to it, and even in the Bible, it talks about the mark of the beast, and it's a number of man, right? Well, each of those little microchips, of course, are going to have a number. So I don't know. I pray that that's not in my timeline. But look where we are, right? Unity, Christ consciousness. Exactly. They say Harper would be a great US ambassador. Yeah, he would. I liked Harper too. He was good. 17, Patricia, can we say a prayer for all those who lost loved ones and their homes in the fires? Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll do that right before I hop off. I do have another interview tonight, so I'm going to try and stick to the hour. But yes, and remind me, because I may forget. I've got a really bad memory when it comes to doing this stuff, because I always get nervous doing my lives and talk a mile a minute and then forget. So just type it up before we go. And yes, let's do a prayer. Okay, when it comes to Elon Musk, I get an uneasy feeling because he wants to do the microchip. Is he trustworthy? No, he's not trustworthy. He's not trustworthy at all. Anybody who wears a Baphomet costume at Halloween is not my person. That's totally not my person. So I don't trust his energy. He's not from here. So my take on extraterrestrials, or I don't know, shapeshifters, that stuff, I know that they walk among us. I know they do because I've met one and I saw it. I saw it change right in front of me. It was a woman. She's actually a psychologist. And she was bragging to me that she was a shapeshifter. So, and it was my first time I met her. And I didn't even know what a shapeshifter was. And I'm like, okay, if you're a shapeshifter, then shapeshift. And lo and behold, the only way I can describe it is that it looked like a Snapchat filter coming down over her face, going really fast like this. But I could see what was coming down over her. And from the base of her neck, it looked like a veiny black pattern that moved all over her face sideways. And then her eyes went black. Her hair was about here and it was blonde to begin with. All of a sudden, it went down to about here, and it was like the shimmery purple with silvery shimmers in it. It was the weirdest thing. And then I blinked again and it was off of her. It was gone. Scared the heck out of me. Made me wonder if she was possessed. Not gonna lie. It was pretty creepy to see that. And I'm still trying to make sense of that. But I also know when I really looked at her and I looked at her auric field, she didn't have a normal human auric field. It was different colors than I'd seen before. So I knew that something was up with this person. But anyways, my point of talking about that is because I know they walk among us. So what civilization does he represent? That's what I ask myself. And what technology has he been brought here to bring forward or to introduce into our societies? But no, do I trust him? No. And that's why I say, like, even with Neuralink and stuff, it'll be sold as a great idea. But then you got to ask yourself, what's the possibilities with this if it got into the wrong hands? Or, even information, like I did my 23andMe and it turned out wonderful. I have an amazing family in Ireland that I just love to bits. I feel so honored that I was able to meet them. However, I really dislike that someone knows my DNA and knows all about me and my heritage, because I do believe that there's power in the blood. I 100% do. And when 23andMe had their data breach, what the people were looking for was the Ashkenazi Jewish bloodline. Why were they so interested in that? I find that very, very, very interesting. There's blood. There's power in their blood. They're after them for a reason, right? Why would they want to know all that info? And what scares me even further about that is 23andMe has now gone bankrupt. So if you are part of 23andMe, definitely delete your information off there, because if it gets sold, who's going to be buying it? What government is going to be buying our DNA? So Fluffy Pancake, isn't there power in RH blood too? I'm O negative blood. And yes, I do believe that there is power in the, especially in the O blood. I will say, I'm not trying to make myself sound cool or anything like that, but I'll tell you why. I find it interesting that I can save all of you, but only my kind can save me. I think that's a little weird. So I think that that's very interesting. That, universal blood, but I can only take my kind. Let me look. Elon is abusing ketamine. People are talking. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about ketamine and psychedelics for a second, because I've watched people that I cared about very much go down a serious hole with trying to do these psychedelic ceremonies, these spiritual ceremonies. And they have turned on voices that they can't turn off. They can't sleep. They can't think straight. They're completely dysregulated. And I hate to say it, but these are the psychologists that are training for this in order to do this for their clients. And that's very dangerous, because if it messes with the people who are supposed to be legally treating people with it, what makes them think that it won't mess with the patients? So I think that Alberta Healthcare has made a big mistake trying to regulate this so carelessly. I think that they have done so in a careless fashion, because the training almost killed one of them. And she's still not herself since going through it. So just be careful with that. And I know that I'm talking about it because people are now, it's the new way to heal, right? I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. There's better ways to heal than getting yourself into a drug-induced K-hole. So just that's my take on it. I don't want to have too much of a backlash, but it's just, when you are pushing your consciousness out of the way and doing it in a form of sacred ceremony, you're inviting spirit to be a part of it. So if you are not in complete spiritual alignment, you can attract the way you feel, you can attract more of it. And the thing is, the first maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 times might be wonderful and healing, but then it goes dark, and it goes really dark. And that's when, the energy has shifted. And all I'm saying is that I've watched people go down that and they're still not out of it. So be very careful if you're using that as a form of treatment. Just be careful. Be careful with it. Okay, let me just see what else you guys are saying. JFK Jr. Yes, Carmen. Oh, Carmen, good to see you on here. Look what I have. Carmen Crowley dug this out of the ground for me and sent this to me. And when I was in Paris, France, I bought a replica of the Ark of the Covenant. And this beautiful crystal sits in there every night. It fits literally just perfectly. I was like, ooh, welcome home, baby. So, Carmen, thank you so much. I have it with me all the time. Well, sitting with me when I've been doing readings and everything. So, thank you, Carmen. I so appreciate that. Okay, sorry, back to your comment. I just noticed your name and went, Carmen's here. RFK Jr. gives me hope that people will become more self-aware of their health and the way governments have poisoned us. Yes, love that guy. Love that guy. Do you see health becoming an aspect of disclosure this year? Absolutely. With RFK in there, absolutely, I do. I think that you guys are, it's interesting how the pendulum really swung from the left to the right, and it's because the left screwed themselves. They went way too far left, and just everything that they've done. I don't know. Up here in Canada, I'm still scarred from. I've forgiven, but I won't forget what the Trudeau government has done up here. But I really wish we had RFK up in Canada. That would be nice. Okay, I cannot be spiritually devoid when using psychedelics. Exactly. Chris Leo. Okay, that's what I mean. And if people don't have their light anchored into them, oh, those little drug demons can't wait to get inside of you and wreak havoc. And like I said, somebody I know turned on voices that she cannot turn off. And it's really sad to watch someone go through that. But it's also something then that they have to find their way out of, right? So I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do that stuff. Watch it. Yeah, inviting spirits. And do you know what? I was meditating about that the other day. And what I saw, because I was asking questions about when a psychologist is dysregulated and she goes ahead and still goes ahead with a sacred ceremony, what happens? And the words that I heard was host hopping. Ugh, that gives me chills just to even hear that. It's STDs. You're spreading your spiritually transmitted demons is what's happening in those ceremonies. If the person conducting it isn't of the highest light or have their light ground into them and spiritually know who they are and standing in their truth and walking the walk, you cannot be opening up ceremony for other people and opening them to that energy and thinking that it's okay and that it won't hop onto them. So yeah, I just cut out the ceremonies. And listen, I know that a lot of people are doing them right now, but in 2025, just don't. The veil is super thin and spiritual warfare is huge. It's very real. Don't let anything take control of your vessel, and don't invite anything in other than the Holy Spirit, the big guy himself, into your vessel to blend with you, because there's just too much out there right now. It's kind of like all hell broke loose a little bit, so you don't need to be playing in that sandbox. Kendra asks, is the cosmic library real, the same as the Akashic records? I think it's the same thing. The cosmic library and the Akashic records are totally the same thing. It's just perception or how a person calls it, I guess. But yeah, it is very real, because when I'm doing a reading, it's like I found your book on the shelf of life and I'm just pulling it off the shelf and I'm opening it up. And if I'm going this way in your book, I know I'm looking at your past. If I'm going this way, I'm looking at your future. And if I'm looking right here, I'm looking right now. This is what's happening in today, right? And it's pre-written. Like, one of the coolest, I've made some really wild, crazy, cool predictions, but one of the ones that sticks with me is I actually predicted a woman winning the lottery right down to the day that she won, and actually to the 2 days. I told her that November 27th, you'll go out and you'll buy the ticket. December 2nd, you're going to find out you won. and she won $7 million. And the appointment was in March, and she didn't win until November. So when something is pre-written in there for you, it's going to happen no matter what. It's just a matter of time, and things lining up. So fluffy pancakes, inviting spirit. That's why they call alcohol wine and spirits. Yeah, absolutely. I don't let people drink on my retreats. Oh, by the way, I will let the cat out of the bag on this one. Big announcement. You guys, I just posted it on my website. I haven't even made any ads or told anyone about it yet. You guys are literally the first time I'm talking about it publicly. But I just posted my next Sedona, Arizona retreat. 5 days with me in the desert, learning psychic development, remote viewing, and having the greatest spiritual attunements because we'll be in the vortexes. And Sedona I love teaching there because it has the most spiritual energy that I've ever come across. Now, I will tell you, before I even advertised it, it is already half sold out. So if you do want to come, go check my website quick and get yourself a spot. I am taking deposits for it, or you can pay the whole thing up front and not worry about it. But anyways, either way, it's on my website. No, so is all the information. But definitely go. Oh, it's on my website. So my website is www.patriciamonna.com. So just my name.com. But yeah, check it out because it is a bucket list trip. It really genuinely is. I make it the most fun, healing, uplifting. It's like soul family coming together. We do everything, hang out in our jammies, have breakfast. Like my husband's the chef and my son is the sous chef. So you even get to hang out with my family for the 5 days. And yeah, it's just the best time ever. You go home and you're like, you know that your family just got extended by 25 people. So, okay, what else can I answer for you? Okay. Chris says, one needs to be able to read energy in that state to discern between hallucination, benevolent, and malevolent spirits. If one hasn't explored their soul, it can be very traumatizing. Boom, that's a mic drop, Chris. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Exactly. And you know what? Some people aren't ready for that stuff. Some people aren't ready to see spirits, and it can be very traumatizing, especially when you can't shut it off. So all I'm saying with that stuff is the veil is super thin, thinner than it's ever been before. So I wouldn't play around with that stuff. But yeah, you have to have high spiritual discernment to be messing with stuff like that. You really do. Calica light waves and frequency patches have been very helpful for keeping me healthier and grounded. Oh, I love hearing that. I make my own. I have a Rife machine. And for anyone who does have a Rife machine that's watching this, those RDIF anti-theft stickers that you can buy? You can buy a roll of 500 of them on Amazon and stick them on top of your Rife machine and program them yourself. Because I bet you that's cheaper than the lightwave ones. And I'm going to be honest, the ones that I imprinted, like for me, from my Rife machine, doing it that way, I found them more effective than the LifeWave ones. So just wanted to let you know that you can do it for much cheaper if you got a Rife machine. S. Ireland says, but since we are not our bodies, can AI really do anything to us? Yeah, but guess what? When we're out of our body, we're frequency. We're energy. We're frequency. So if, for example, they say that people cannot remote view the Pentagon because there's literal frequencies around it that remote viewers can't seem to get past. I'm going to be honest, I haven't tried, but that's what I hear. Same thing with Area 51, that remote viewers can't really get in there because there actually is a layer of frequencies around it that won't allow a remote viewer in. So if they can keep our spirit out from remote viewing, can they keep our spirit trapped in any way, shape, or form? And if it is the false god, I'm not going to have nothing. I'm not having anything to do with that. Nothing to do with that. I'm not even risking it. Same thing with with the COVID. I didn't even know, not today, Satan. I'm having nothing to do with that. That looks a little bit too mark of the beast for me, if you ask me. And no judgment. This was just me. This is what went through my head. And so yeah, I think that AI can be dangerous in the future because there's going to be things that we can't even think of right now that they're going to come out with. Oh, the spiritual warfare veil. No one is talking about the 5 portals the Pope opened on Christmas. I heard about that, and then I heard he didn't do it. So I don't know, but I'm going to tell you something. The energy has absolutely changed since Christmas, 100%. And I think that that's why my clocks are all off, because we have had a timeline jump or a timeline split. I'd call it more of a split than a jump. Yeah. So look for your clocks being off. That's definitely one of the little 3D signs that that you'll notice when reality's been altered. Miriam did a remote view of the portals on her quantum YouTube page. Very cool. I'll have to check it out. Okay. Med beds are coming. I think med beds are already here. I really do. I think that they're just still being held back from us for whatever reason. But med beds, it's frequencies. To me, it does look like a tanning bed, and you're literally cocooned in frequencies. That's what I see when I remote view med beds. Oh, Shannon, I'm so sorry that you're in a wheelchair. I will pray for you. I'm so sorry. What is a Rife machine? Is that like the EE system? Yes and no. So the EE system uses frequencies as well. It uses Rife frequencies, I believe. So Rife therapy, it's a medical device. It's a medical box that emits specific frequencies that correlate to the injury or ailment that you want to heal. So think of the way that doctors get rid of kidney stones. What they do is they match the vibration of the kidney stone with its own oscillation rate, or it's called a MOR, mortality oscillation rate. It vibrates, it blows up, and you pee it out. And just like the way the opera singer shatters the crystal glass, they match the vibration with their voice of the crystal glass to that octave. It vibrates and it shatters. Well, you can shatter cancer cells like that. You can literally, we've treated people for warts, 3 treatments, and the things are falling off and disappearing because it targets the virus that creates the outbreak, therefore cutting off the food supply, and then it just disappears. So it's an old technology that is just coming out again, and the LifeWave patches are absolutely based on Rife technology. They're imprinting their patches with frequencies. Everything in the known universe has a frequency, right down to a headache or a kidney stone. So if you know the vibration of the headache or the kidney stone, you can eliminate it by using its own vibrational frequency at it. So it's even the way seismologists will blast through mountains. They match the vibration of the rock with its own vibration, and it penetrates through. So back to the EE system. The EE system does beneficial frequencies. So I want you to think of it as like a multivitamin, right? It's beneficial for everyone, but it's not targeted healing. Rife therapy has the machine that I have has over 40,000 different frequencies programmed into it. So it targets specific things. You know, if I've got a headache, or if I've got like anything, even from osteoarthritis and anxiety, depression, sleeplessness, all of it, it's a frequency. So if it's programmed into my machine, we got it. It works, and it absolutely works. I was 210 pounds walking with a cane in 2009, and I was bedbound for 2 years. And it was Rife therapy that got me back on my feet and gave me my life back. And that's why I'm like, Rife therapy. It should be in every single doctor's office. It absolutely should. But that's what all these new technologies are basing their technologies of the future upon. It's actually medicine of the past. And the sad thing is they threw Royal Rife in jail. And I'm pretty sure that's where he died. And the AMA burnt down his labs and everything. Sad what happened to him. But that's what happens when you discover, something that can actually fight cancer. So anyways, so the EE system's beneficial frequencies. The Rife therapy, you're hooked up to it, where you're holding the metal rods, or we also have wristbands that go around the ankles and the wrists, and then the frequencies go through your body. But the EE system, you're just sitting in a room with it, and it's beneficial frequencies, not targeted. Okay. And we can heal ourselves. Yes, Shanti, but a lot of people don't have a clue where to start on that. And I think the biggest block to healing ourselves is disbelief or lack of faith. The more faith we have in seeing our illness through and getting to the other side, chances are we're going to make it. Does Trump have any remote viewers to help him distinguish between good and bad forces? That I have no idea. I don't know. Is he corruptible, or will he stay strong? No, I think he's stubborn. He's stubborn. I think he's definitely going to stay strong. I think he's going to stay strong. Now, what concerns me about Elon Musk is now that he's kind of working with the government, all of his stuff getting pushed through like this, that kind of concerns me a little bit. But I do believe that we are really entering huge AI, a time of huge AI advancement and technological advancement. I also think that there's going to be massive trade wars and tariffs and one thing after the other that can change our life like this. So be on the lookout for that. And it doesn't necessarily need to be bad, right? It's just, the thing is that the element of surprise and the element of fear or the element of surprise and excitement vibrates very similarly with fear, right? It's just literally how you're looking at the situation. So look at it as, get excited. It doesn't necessarily mean that everything is bad. It can be awesome too. Okay. Let me just see. It's why the bad guys took over the music industry, to hijack the sound frequency of music and program negative subliminals. Absolutely, JJ Gems. You hit the nail on the head there too. There's a lot of subliminal messages that have been put in the background of music. They change the frequency, all of that. However, there's also amazing binaural beats that you can listen to that can trigger those different parts of the brain to relax you, to get you more into that meditative state. And I will say, my favorite channel on YouTube to listen to for binaural beats, it's called Soul Soothing. Soul Soothing. I love that. I do have it on in my office all the time, 24/7. And in my home, I have it on all day and then just turn it down at night and then turn it back on in the morning. I love the energy that it gives off in my house. Okay. Yes, Nikola Tesla said something about, to understand things, know about energy, frequency, and vibration. Absolutely. It changed my life learning about that stuff. It really did. And it also made different things make sense biblically, even, because you got to understand, 2,500 years ago, people didn't have a clue what they were trying to explain, or were remote viewing at the time when they're looking into the future, right? But yeah, energy, frequency, and vibration, when you learn to work with that stuff, it changes your reality, because when you can learn to alter your own vibration. Oh, by the way, That's what that shapeshifter told me she does. She alters her vibration. Interfrequential being. That's what she said. She was an interfrequential being. So apparently she can change a frequency and mask it and then put it on again. So I think there are people that know how to do that. Well, yeah, there are. Think of Reiki. We do change our vibration when when we're doing any sort of hands-on healing even. So anyways, it's more than just, it's everything. Can't wait for free energy frequency to be revealed. Yeah, that'll be awesome. One day, hopefully. Oh, prayer reminder. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you. Going to do that. I'm just going to get to the bottom here. Do we have to worry about Taylor Swift's music? What's your read on her? I think she sold her soul. Her energy's changed. She doesn't have any whites and light blues and pinks or any of that in her field anymore. It's all reds and blacks and heavy, dark energy in her field. So Taylor Swift, I would turn her music off. And now here's another reason why I wouldn't listen to her music. I don't listen to anything that's not uplifting. Not just the beat, but the words. I don't want to resonate with someone else's pain, because when a song is a breakup song, it's written in pain, right? Then you're literally vibrating with someone else's story and someone else's pain. And what happens is when you're listening to a sad, sappy song in pain, where does it bring your mind? To sad, sappy pain, right? When we're listening to upbeat music, what does it do to our body? It gets us going. That's why you want to listen to it at the gym, and you want to listen to calming music when you want to calm down. Her music, 90% of her music, is based in a story in pain and broken relationships that didn't work, right? So I don't know. To me, seeing her vibration and what she's been up to lately, I just yeah, I don't like her. Ultra deep binaural beats are my fave. We'll look up soul soothing. Another one to look up that's really cool, 9D audio. That's a trip to listen to as well. It sounds like it's going all around here. Yes, I'm going to do the prayers. Everybody ready for that? Okay, we're going to do a prayer for California. There was another tragedy though. We're going to pray for California. We're going to cover the states in protection. That's what we're going to do. We're going to pray for everything. Hi, Fran. Great to see my cousin on here. My cousin up in Dublin, Ireland. Great to see you on here. Come on, Fran. You're going to come pray with me. You made it onto my live for a reason, because I know it's the middle of the night there. So thank you for jumping on. Okay. So I want you to just place your feet on the ground. Close your eyes. Just take a nice deep breath. Allow your busy thoughts to go. And just center your mind, body, soul into this now moment as we come together. Heavenly Father, I come before you in this moment with all these people in tandem with me as we reach out and connect in that unified field. We come together as a force, as voices to be heard. We ask that you comfort and bring strength to all of the victims of the California fires, to the tragedy in Louisiana, and I believe Nevada. Lord, we ask that you bring peace and comfort to the victims, bring them hope and reassurance, and let them know that they are being cared for, comforted, and provided for. Heavenly Father, I ask that you spread that protection and that strength all across the U.S. Spread it into every single state, from coast to coast, top to bottom, side to side, inside out. Lord, we thank you for spreading that blanket of golden light all across the United States of America. And Heavenly Father, we ask that you blanket Canada as well as we go through this transition. Lord God, we ask for the greatest choice to be chosen for our government, for our leadership. We ask that you protect the people of Canada and the U.S. from any sinister events or intentions. We ask that you render mute and delete all sinister activities. Remove it from their minds and from this reality. Bring peace to the restlessness and hope to all those who have lost it. As we come together as one unified force field, let's take a nice deep breath of that golden light. Breathe it down through our bodies, out through our feet, into the ground that we sit upon. We ask to be vessels of light. We ask for Archangel Michael to stand behind each and every one of us on this call, to guard, guide, and protect every step of our path, to grant us the protection of the soldiers of light and the warrior angels, so that we may continue to do your work. I thank you, Lord, and I ask that you spread that peace now all across our planet, into every nook and cranny, over every continent and region, every country in the world. Lord, we ask that you change the hearts and the minds of every single person. Let them see the goodness in the world and let them emanate the peace that this world so badly desires. We thank you for your presence. And we thank you for hearing our prayers. All this I ask in my Father's name. Amen. I think we've got some quantum healers amongst this group, or else we've got some Reiki masters in here, because I felt you. I felt you. So good job, you guys. I felt that light. My hands are still tingling. Absolutely, in Jesus' name. Absolutely. That's my guy. That's my man. That's who I work for. That's who I aspire to be like. So, okay, guys. I guess thank you, Tori. Thank you. Thanks for being a part of that, you guys. Like I said, there's power in group prayer. There really, really is. And even just that little clip, of the prayer, if you want to watch it again, you're adding on to the imprint of that frequency of light, that unity field of energy that we created together. So I thank you guys. And hang on, don't leave yet. I wanted to tell you, okay, I've got a bit of a break in between. I got a 2-hour gap. So it's 8 o'clock right now where I am in Alberta. And at 10 p.m., I'm going on another YouTube channel called Spaced Out Radio. I guess they got their radio station and they broadcast it live on YouTube. So I'm here till 12 o'clock tonight. I hope you guys can come join me at 10 p.m. because that one's live as well. And if you have questions or anything, I don't know. They're very UFO type people. When I didn't know who, they'd ask me for an interview. I'm like, sure, I'll come on. And I think they've got a lot of questions about UFOs and stuff. So if I'll answer as much as I can. I mean, it's not like I know much, but I'll answer what I can know or what I do know. But I think the theme of the talk is missing person cases and what happened to these people so when they go missing. So if you want to learn about remote viewing and missing person cases, definitely hop on. It's called Spaced Out Radio. Spaced Out Radio is the channel that you want to look for on YouTube after this one. So from 10 p.m. till 12 a.m., if you want to stay up with me, it's Friday night. Come hang out with me on Friday. Oh, perfect. Thank you, Tori. There, that's awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate that. Grab a coffee, grab a cup of tea, come join me, and I'll see you guys on Spaced Out Radio in just under 2 hours. Yay! Okay, guys, thank you. And I'll do these more often. I'm going to get more active back on my YouTube. I think it's important that we stick together as a community, and for anyone who's going through it, send me a message. I will pray for you. I'm not kidding. And when I say that I'll pray for you, I pray for you. I literally have a list of people by my bedside that I pray for nightly. So if you want to make it onto that list, send me an email, info@patriciamonna.com, or contact me through my website, www.patriciamonna.com. I'll pray for you, and I genuinely mean that. So, yeah. And check out my retreat. It's in the link at the top. I haven't fully announced it yet. Like I said, I'm just saying it for the first time publicly to you guys. So, and there's only a few spots left. Out of 24 spots, I think there's only like maybe 10 left. So if you want to come, jump in. It's the time of your life. Bucket list trip, can guarantee it. So, okay. Anyways, I'll quit yabbering. God bless. Hope to see you at 10 o'clock on Spaced Out Radio. God bless, guys. Have a great night.